Now, everybody's talking about it. Pretty much, it seems that everybody agrees of the rationale. They agree with the rationale that is required. However, there are issues of capacity to execute. That I don't have the money. I'm a poor state. I can hardly pay salaries. How am I going to do this? So, other than us saying, why don't we have regional policing, where a certain region is policed by a certain... So, what do you think is the right approach? Because sometimes it seems our governors or our leaders are totally bereft of ideas. They're not sure how about to go. They know what to do, but they're not even sure how to go about it. So, in your own experience, what do you think should be our approach concerning this issue of state policing?
I think we should look at what state policing is all about. State policing is basically a domesticated policing system. Right. And if I just have to look at a primitive or preliminary definition of what the concept of state policing is all about. Now, if you look at it from that perspective, then you want to ask yourself, apart from bearing arms, is bearing arms the central concept of state policing? Fantastic. If the answer is no, that simply means that it will be lazy for anybody to say that we cannot afford it. Fantastic. Now let's look at it from that angle. LASMA is there. Lagos State Safety Neighborhood. Sokoto State Marshal is there. Isbao in Kano, they are there. Now, in other words, almost all the states as it is now, they already have a form of our similitude of state police, and they've been paying. So the problem now, is it the money to purchase the arms?
That is the problem.
Or the money to train, or the money to kit?
Yeah, that's part of it.
Now,
because they do need to...
No, you see, if it is the money to train, the money to arm, or the money to kit, naturally, the government as it is now will have an omnibus central fund pool.
Exactly.
All the police that are in the country today are from different states. Right. First of all, the first experiment is, first of all, deploy everybody to their state of origin. The money still comes from the federal government. Now, that is a first preliminary approach to it. Then the governors have security votes. That is one. Yes. Secondly, now as we speak, most states fund their state police.
Already?
By donating vehicles.
Yeah.
Every week they have security reports, and they also make sure that they mobilize for fueling, for so many other things. Who's kidding who?
Exactly.
So
I'm just concerned because we've seen how politics is handled in this country. And our police, the majority of our police, aside from the state LASMA and all those ones you mentioned, are controlled from the federal. Now, when we begin to have state police, the power is so much in the hands of the governors because they determine who is recruited, they determine who is deployed to where, and they have direct access for control. Now we have politicians who are self-serving. If anything happens, they will use those people that they have recruited to work against the opposition party. And that means that opposition will not have a say at all in a democratic system. How do you think that this state policing, we can have state policing without having this issue, considering the nature of our politicians?
Right. Okay.
Well, I think that, like she just chipped in, it's already in existence. So there is nothing to fear again.
It's already
now, look. If you are an APC governor, you have the federal military might, the federal might.
Working for your favor?
Working in your favor. If you are governor for PDP, you are on the opposition already. And that is what is playing out absolutely as it is today. So there is nothing spectacular. But in short, that, to me, is a contemporary lazy man's argument. Let's drop that. Let's ask a question. Is it right, in view of our present security challenges, all terrorism will strive with the assistance of domestic influences?
Yes. Very true.
I said it in, I think, some of your other programs on this channel that, look, the traditional system, traditional rulers, the elders, the emirs, and the like, they know their forests. They know where the hideouts are in the forest. They have hunters. They know the geographical map of their area. They also know the boys that are miscreants, armed robbers, cultists in their domain. But they cannot function except you have a community policing. Community policing cannot succeed under a federal system, but under a state policing.
So, my question, sir.
I hope you understand.
Yes.
My question, sir, is now that when we know this can work, we also had the president give a statement last week that we should go and implement. And then a few minutes later, another statement came that wasn't what the president meant. This is what the president means. There is the sniffing of cabal that don't want this to work. What do you foresee is the reason these people in power are not allowing this obvious solution to work?
Right.
Now, you see, if I give a very, let me take it from a very remote perspective. Terrorism. There's what we call the sleeper cell in terrorism. And what sleeper cell does is that they nexus with, or they are part of the government. And because they are part of the government, and at times so powerful, now they look at each policy from the level of how much it will affect the activities of their cause or their agenda.
Right.
Now, if it would have a negative impact on the long run, you will see a stronger propaganda against it. Look, whether state police will work or not, if majority of the people in a democratic setting says, let us go the way of state policing, if it doesn't work, governance is continuum. If it doesn't work, we revert back to where we are coming from. We've practiced state police before in this country. And at a time, it was like, okay, why not let's come together under a federal policing system. Now we are all saying that, okay, there's a problem with this. It's not working the way we want. I give you an example of the Enugu state that led to about 80 people massacred.
Yes.
We're told that the governor was informed about the imminence of the attack. He called the commissioner of police at the heat of the commissioner of police had to inform the IG. The IG had to inform the president whether to move or not to move.
As in,
the security men were actually on ground, but they were waiting for the order. And the order had to come from the Almighty God at the federal level. Before you knew what was happening, 80 human beings lost their lives within a twinkle of an eye, irredeemably. So you see, if you look at it from that angle, look, you are talking about Sambisa Forest. The civilian JTF had helped the military in no small measure. Why do you need the civilian JTF?
They're on ground.
Because they understand the terrain of the forest. The same thing if you go to your own village. Go to the hunters. The Oro festival you mentioned about, they do it in the forest there. They know all the forest, they know all the terrain. They know where to go and how to go about it.
Right. Okay.